Hello and welcome to the Gut 360 Masterclass. My name is Eli Brecher, and in this free training, I'll be taking you through the exact steps that I use with my clients to support their gut health with a 360-degree approach. So, a bit about me before we get started. I'm a registered associate nutritionist. I specialize in gut health. I have a private nutrition practice where I see clients online, individually, and in group settings. I'm the host of the Gut 360 podcast. I do one-to-one consultations, corporate wellness sessions, and I share recipes and nutrition tips every day on Instagram. My handle is at Eli Brecher Nutrition. If you don't already follow me there, it's on the screen at the top. So here's what we'll be talking about today. We'll start off with nutrition, the microbiome, and bloating. Then we'll move on to how stress and mindset are connected to our gut health. We'll also talk about daily habits for gut health. And at the end, I'm going to share an exclusive offer with you that I know you'll love. So, is this you? You're here because you care about your health. I'm assuming you want to get to the root cause of your gut issues and figure out what's really triggering them rather than just using a band-aid approach. And you're ready to take action and let go of those digestive complaints that are holding you back. But you feel stuck and you don't know where to begin. Maybe you're tired of cutting out foods without knowing if it helps. And bloating has become a part of your life that you've now accepted. Perhaps you've tried every diet and supplement under the sun, but you have no idea if they've helped. Energy slumps, fatigue, and stress have become your new normal. Maybe you're embarrassed about your unpredictable bathroom habits. Or maybe you know that your skin, your hormones, and your mood could all use a helping hand. Do any of these sound familiar to you? If you found yourself nodding along to one or more of the above, then this webinar is for you. And honestly, I can relate to every single one of the above. I've had Crohn's since I was 8 years old, so I truly get it. I know it feels so disheartening when your digestive symptoms are in control of your life. So let's talk about pillar one, and that is nutrition. But before we talk about nutrition, let's talk about what a healthy gut actually looks like. So I'll just put it out there. We should all be going to the bathroom at least once a day. It shouldn't be a painful experience. You shouldn't be straining, and you should have very minimal bloating and gas. A little bit of both can be normal, but not to the point where it's a real complaint of yours. Ideally, no heartburn, no acid reflux, and no other GI symptoms or gastrointestinal symptoms. So let's talk about some signs that your gut might need some support. Digestive issues, of course. So if you're struggling with any changes in bowel habits, constipation, diarrhea, feeling constantly bloated, having stomach cramps, things like that, all signs that your gut needs support. That's the obvious. But did you know there's also a huge link between the gut and the skin? So if you're experiencing skin issues like acne, psoriasis, or eczema, then these could all be signs that your gut needs support. Fatigue or unexplained sluggishness is another common one. And so is unstable moods, anxiety, and irritability. We'll talk more about the gut-brain connection and how our gut and our brain are actually, always in communication with each other. But all of these are signals that your gut might need some more support. Brain fog and trouble concentrating is another one. Sugar cravings, this is something I see all the time in my clinic. And also unintentional weight fluctuations. So if you're gaining weight, but you're not quite sure why, you think you're doing all the right things, or equally, if you're losing weight and you're not trying to lose weight, it's just kind of falling off, that might be a sign to look at your gut health. And another very common one is hormone issues and issues with your cycle. So experiencing PMS, experiencing very bad PCOS symptoms. PCOS can be connected to the gut, and by supporting your gut health, you can in turn support some of those symptoms too. So how can you build balanced meals? I always think this is a great place to start. So we begin with the four macronutrients. I know you've been told there are three. You've been told there's protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And yes, these are really the three macros. But I say that there's a fourth, and that's fiber. Now, a lot of fiber-rich foods generally come under carbohydrates, but I see it as a separate building block of the meal. So every time you're assembling your plate, can you say, here's my protein, here's my carbohydrate, here is my healthy fats, and here's my extra fiber. So I'm going to give you some examples of all of those. So for protein, there's animal protein and there's plant-based protein. Animal protein would be things like beef, chicken, fish, eggs, and dairy products. And then plant-based protein, lentils, chickpeas, nuts, and tofu are all examples. For fats, choose healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, oily fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, nuts and seeds, peanut butter, almond butter, tahini, all good examples of healthy fats too. When it comes to carbs, you want to choose complex carbs over white refined carbs. So things like brown rice, whole grain bread, whole wheat pasta over white rice, white bread, white pasta. And then you want to add in extra fiber. So nuts and seeds are great, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, which of course comes under carbohydrates that we talked about, and then also things like fresh herbs, things like beans and pulses, lentils, all really good sources of fiber. And if you combine all of these elements, that is going to lead to stable blood sugar balance. So rather than having big spikes and crashes in your blood sugar after a meal, it will be more of a smooth curve. Of course, some fluctuation is normal. And it's also going to support your overall energy levels, your mood, your focus, and support your gut too. So, what causes bloating? Bloating is one of the most common issues I see in my clinic, and there are so many different potential causes. One of them is eating very large quantities of food, and another is eating very quickly. You'll notice if you kind of guzzle your food down, you might feel bloated very quickly afterwards. Not chewing your food well enough. I think most people don't chew well enough. I like to say half the bite, double the chew. So take smaller mouthfuls, literally half the size of what you would typically take, and try to chew that smaller mouthful for twice as long as you typically would. Because chewing is one of the first phases of digestion. You know, we don't have teeth in our stomach. It should really be broken down in our mouth into almost applesauce consistency before it goes down to the rest of the digestive system. Certain high fiber foods, which might actually be healthy, can also contribute to bloating, depending on the person. Artificial sweeteners, especially sugar alcohols, things like sorbitol, mannitol, xylitol, these can make you feel very bloated. Fizzy drinks and trapped air. Another common one is IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, and that affects up to 1 in 5 people in the UK. So it's super common. Something else that's less talked about is SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And that affects about 80% of people with IBS. So it's more common than you'd realize. That can make you feel very, very bloated. Then there's gynecological issues, things like endometriosis. And of course, high stress levels are hugely linked with bloating. So, how can we fix bloating? Well, first and foremost, we want to rule out any other diagnoses. So, you may want to have a blood test at your GP, just so your doctor can rule out any signs of inflammation, perhaps, anything like Crohn's or colitis, IBD. You also would want to rule out things like celiac disease, various other issues. So, worth seeing a doctor firstly. You also want to reduce your portion size. So, eating smaller meals, perhaps more frequently, perhaps having 4 or even 5 smaller meals throughout the day. Experiment, see if that works for you. Slow down in your eating speed and also in your life generally if you can. Chew your food very well. Manage your stress levels. So, lots of different ways you can do that. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Practice mindful eating. So, essentially, that is putting away any distractions, any technology, and really being present with the food, tuning into your different senses, the taste, the smells, the textures of the food that you're eating. Also, try to choose cooked vegetables over raw. So you might find if you eat lots of big raw salads, that can make you feel bloated. So choose more cooked vegetables, things like ratatouille or roasted courgette and aubergine over raw veg. Go for a short walk after meals. It doesn't need to be super long. It can be, just 10 minutes. That also really helps support with your blood sugar as well as reducing bloating. Really try to limit the artificial sweeteners in your diet and all kinds of ultra processed ingredients in addition to just artificial sweeteners. So also things like emulsifiers, gums, stabilizers, preservatives. These are found in our food quite a lot. A lot of packaged foods will contain these. Skip the fizzy drinks and consider supplements. I'm not going to dive too deep into this one because supplements are a very individual one. So I always recommend speaking to a nutritionist personally when it comes to supplements. So the gut microbiome, you might have heard of this. I'll just define it for you. Essentially, it's this community of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and viruses that live inside our gut. And it's actually really important for our health. Our gut microbiome weighs about 2 kilograms and it's bigger than the average human brain. And diversity is really key. And what that means is we want lots of different strains of bacteria in different amounts. So if you think about planting a garden, you're not just going to plant 100 of the same flowers or the same types of tree or bush. You want, different ones, and they all thrive under different conditions. So some might grow faster with more sunlight, some prefer the shade, some like more water, whereas others like less, for example. And it's the same with the microbes in our gut. They all thrive off different types of plant-based foods and different types of fibers that we consume through our diet. You are more microbe than you are human. You may not know this, but you actually have more microbial cells in your body than human cells, which is just crazy. And our gut microbes are involved in regulating our immune system. So 70% of your immune system is in your gut. It's also involved in our mood. So over 90% of our serotonin, or our happy hormone, is made in the gut. Our hormones, including estrogen, and also it's linked with cravings and weight. So super important to be supporting our gut microbiome. So how can we now nourish your microbiome? Firstly, plant points. Aim for 30 plant points a week. And what that means is 30 different diverse types of plant-based ingredients. So this isn't just fruits and vegetables, it's also nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, grains, fresh herbs and spices. All of these count as plant points. So it's actually much more feasible and easy than you might imagine. Next up is fiber. We should be aiming for 30 grams of fiber per day. The average in the UK is only around 17 grams. So most of us aren't even getting half of the fiber that we need. And for men, it's actually even higher, the requirements. We want a whole range of different types of fiber, soluble fiber, insoluble fiber. They're all important. So try to get a balance of all those different plant-based foods that we've talked about. Next up is eat the rainbow. So look at your plate and try and think, how colorful can I make my plate? If it's looking a bit beige, can I add some fresh spinach on top or some fresh herbs? Or, what vegetables can I add to this? Can I add some red peppers or aubergine for dark purple? Can I have some blueberries for dessert in yogurt, for example? Next up is polyphenols. These are really beneficial plant compounds that our gut bugs love in our microbiome. And you get polyphenols from dark colored fruits, things like berries. Blueberries are very rich in polyphenols. You also get them from green tea, matcha, and coffee, interestingly. Coffee is an interesting one because it can also trigger digestive symptoms in people with a sensitive gut. So worth being aware of that. And lastly on this list is to limit your UPFs, or ultra processed foods. Now, we just touched on that. Essentially, thought I was going to sneeze. Essentially, UPFs, or ultra processed foods, are things like artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, gums, preservatives, and sweeteners. So if you're in the supermarket buying something packaged, just turn it over and read the ingredients. Forget what it says on the front. It might say high protein, low sugar, sugar free. These are all marketing terms, but turn it over and read what's actually in the list of ingredients. And if you see any of these words that you really don't recognize and that your great grandparents probably wouldn't be eating, then you may want to put that food back down. Now it's time to talk about pre and probiotics. So a lot of people have heard of probiotics. Probiotics are the good bacteria that live in our gut microbiome, and we can get them from fermented foods like sauerkraut, kombucha, kimchi, miso, kefir, tempeh, and live yogurts. We can also get them from supplements, but like I said earlier, supplements should always be very personalized depending on the individual. So I do recommend reaching out to a nutritionist to discuss your unique personal requirements before choosing a supplement. Then there's prebiotics, and prebiotics are food for the probiotics. So prebiotics are things like onions, leeks, garlic, asparagus, artichokes, whole grains like oats, and bananas that are slightly underripe, so on the greener side. And if you combine probiotics and prebiotics together, you'll get a symbiotic effect. So, for example, you could do something like salmon marinated in miso for your probiotics, and with a miso drizzle on top, alongside leeks and asparagus as a side dish for some prebiotics. Or you could do for breakfast a bowl of live yogurt, yogurt with kefir, one or the other or both, for your probiotics, your good bacteria. And you could top it with some oats and some slightly underripe sliced banana for your prebiotics. If you think you're eating a perfect diet, or a perfect diet doesn't really exist, but if you've got a great diet and you're still feeling bloated, then I want you to remember that nutrition is only one piece of the puzzle. You could be eating the best diet out there, but if you're constantly stressed, if you're living in fight or flight mode, your gut health is going to struggle. And that's why I take a 360-degree approach to gut health when working with clients. So, I want to introduce you to the mind body gut method. This is my unique signature system that I created. And the tagline is you control your gut, don't let your gut control you. So, you'll see there's the different pieces of the puzzle which all connect to each other. And the mind body gut method, this unique 6-step formula that I developed for client success every time, is made up of 6 pillars. So, the first pillar is nutrition, but then there's stress and mindset. There's daily habits, there's supplements, there's your circadian rhythm, which is your natural body clock, and there's morning and evening routines. And each and every one of these plays a key role in that puzzle that makes up your gut health and your overall well-being. So, pillar 2 of the mind body gut method is stress and mindset. Let's touch on that. Stress impacts the gut by activating fight or flight mode. So, some examples of how the gut and stress can be linked is if you think back to if you ever had to give a presentation, or perhaps you had exams, you might have noticed you were running to the bathroom before, or your stomach felt a bit off. We also use words like getting butterflies in your stomach, maybe before a date. If you have IBS or know anyone who does, their symptoms will likely flare up during times of stress. Same with IBD, Crohn's and colitis. And like we said, 90 to 95% of our serotonin, our happy hormone, is produced in the gut. And the gut's actually known as the second brain because it contains more neurotransmitters than the brain itself. The gut brain connection. Well, this is how the digestive system and the CNS, or the central nervous system, the brain, communicate with each other. It's bidirectional, which means it works both ways. So the gut sends signals up to the brain sends signals down to the gut. And another example of this is the first phase of digestion, which is actually called the cephalic phase. And this happens before the food even hits your lips. So when you're cooking, when you're preparing food, you're chopping it up, you can see it, you can smell it, you can feel it. Your senses, your sensory organs, like your eyes that are seeing it, for example, send signals via your brain down to your gut to say, food is coming soon, start releasing digestive enzymes, juices, biles, all kinds of different things that are involved in the breakdown of food. But nowadays, so many of us just order takeaway quickly and eat mindlessly in front of the TV that we skip that phase, and that's quite damaging to our gut and our digestion. So let's talk about some stress management techniques. Managing our stress is key to a healthy gut because life ebbs and flows. So instead of trying to avoid stress entirely, which, let's be honest, is unrealistic, I want you to focus on how you manage stress when it does creep up. I think it's really important to create a personal toolkit to implement on a daily basis. So things like supporting your nervous system with exhale breathing, where your exhale is a little bit longer than your inhale. So if you're inhaling for, say, 3 or 4 seconds, then your exhale would be maybe 7 or 8 seconds. And on that exhale, that's going to help bring you out of fight or flight and into rest and digest, a calmer nervous system. Herbal teas are great too, things like chamomile, passion flower, or valerian tea. Magnesium is amazing for sleep issues, anxiety, and stress. Bear in mind, there are 11 different types of magnesium, so chat to a health professional or a nutritionist to get a good recommendation on what type would be best for you. Reduce stimulants. So I encourage clients to not have any caffeine after midday or really after lunchtime max, because caffeine has a half-life of about 8 hours in the body. So it stays floating around our system for much longer than we realize. And then mindful eating, like we've talked about, putting away your distractions and being present. Pillar 3 is daily habits for gut health. And I really love this one. So there are so many different things we can do to support our gut from a lifestyle perspective. There's hydration, so keep a bottle of water in sight at all times. Movement, try and walk or cycle to work. Have a stretch at your desk. Get up for at least 5 minutes every hour to walk around. Sleep is enormously important. Definitely don't underestimate the importance of sleep for your gut health, your immune system, your hormones, and basically every area of your body. Organization can be really helpful as well. So, bringing your own snacks to work, batch cooking, and meal prepping. This is something I talk about a lot with my clients. Breath work is another great tool, and meditation to regulate your nervous system. And then there's the other pillars of the mind body gut method. There's the morning and evening routine. There's things like preparing your breakfast in advance. So I like to make overnight oats, for example, having an Epsom salt bath. That way you absorb magnesium sulfate, which is in Epsom salts. You absorb it through your skin in the bath. Reading in bed, these are all part of your morning or evening routine. Then there's the circadian rhythm, pillar 5 of my method. So tuning into your natural body clock, getting morning light, so getting sunshine into your eyes first thing to reset your circadian rhythm, thinking about meal timing. And then there's supplements, which aren't always necessary, but might help to fast track your progress if they're a high quality supplement. So I said at the beginning, I would be sharing an exclusive offer with you. Here it is. If you are ready to transform your gut health for good, you're going to need a 360-degree approach to your mind, body, and gut, which really is the foundation of your overall well-being. Remember, you control your gut, so don't let your gut control you. If you want to learn the start to finish roadmap to reduce your bloating, manage your IBS symptoms, and resolve your ongoing digestive issues one step at a time, then you're in the right place. And you are invited to join me inside my one-to-one program, the Mind Body Gut Method. In the Mind Body Gut Method, my one-to-one program, you get 12 weeks of ongoing one-to-one support from me. There are 6 modules with mini training videos to work your way through. You've got lifetime access to them. You'll have an initial consultation with me, which is an hour long, done online, and then 2 monthly follow-up consultations. These are 40 minutes each. You'll also do a full health questionnaire and a food diary, which I'll analyze. Plus, you'll get over 60 gut-friendly recipes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and drinks. You'll get personalized nutrition and lifestyle plans, detailed printable shopping lists, a whole library of stress management tools and practical mindset tools, things like breathwork videos, guided meditation audios, visualization, and journal prompts. Again, you get lifetime access to these. Movement recommendations, morning and evening routines, and supplement suggestions, all personalized to you. And of course, you get access to me, a nutritionist in your pocket, ongoing unlimited email support and accountability with me Monday to Friday, where you can ask questions between sessions. We set weekly goals together. You can share your wins with me and any challenges and get further support between sessions too. This program is for you if you're struggling with bloating or gut issues, you're tired of cutting out foods without knowing if it helps, you're embarrassed about any unpredictable bathroom habits, you feel tired, low energy, stressed, or anxious. Maybe you're experiencing irregular cycles, PMS, or hormone issues. You might be nervous to eat in social settings in case it triggers your gut. You're trying diets and pills that you see online, but feeling more confused than ever. You're frustrated that your digestive symptoms are in the driver's seat of your life, and you're interested in learning how to build balanced meals to support your gut health and also your energy levels, your blood sugar, and your hormone health. I have worked with hundreds of women who struggle daily with their gut health, and I'm going to let you into a secret. It does not have to be this way. Just imagine for a second how it would feel if you were to overcome the bloating that you've been plagued with for years. How would it feel to say goodbye to those uncomfortable digestive symptoms for good? To swap your anxiety and high stress for peace and balance? To transform everything you know about gut health and to empower yourself with scientific, tried and tested advice? How would it feel to optimize your sleep so that you can boost your focus and your productivity? You can wake up feeling rested, refreshed, and full of energy, and you can approach social settings without dreading what your gut will do. MBG, or the Mind Body Gut Method, has been carefully curated to transform your gut health and get you to where you want to be in just 12 weeks using my 6 pillars to reach optimal health. So nutrition covers what, when, why, and how to eat for gut health, everything from fermented foods to polyphenols and everything in between. Under stress and mindset, remember you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. In daily habits, we talk about hydration, movement, sleep, breath work, and meditation, all fundamental pillars for gut health. In your morning and evening routine, we talk about how to set yourself up for success and unlock your full potential. Then there's circadian rhythm optimization, where you can learn to work in harmony with your natural body clock. And finally, there's the targeted supplement section, where I take a food first approach. But like I said, supplements can help to fast track your progress and see results sooner in some cases. This is always personalized to you. Over 12 weeks, we'll cover the foundations of gut health. We'll cover what is normal digestion, the gut-brain axis, nutrition for gut health, escaping fight or flight mode, some stress management techniques. We'll talk about daily habits, movement, morning and evening routines, your natural body clock, supplements, plus I'll give you access to a bonus hormone health masterclass. And all of this, right now, there's a one-time offer where you can do it in one easy payment of £720. So it's usually £885. You'll be saving £165 here. Alternatively, there's a monthly payment plan, which is normally £295 a month. But right now, you can get this for just £240 a month in 3 monthly payments. So you're saving £55 a month. So this offer is currently available for you to get started today at just $240 a month. And there's more. You can enter the coupon code MBG45 for a further £45 off. Simply scroll down after this free training to sign up for the Mind Body Gut Method. And if you want to have a chat with me privately before signing up to work together, feel free to book a call via the button below. You'll see it says the next step on your gut health journey, schedule a free phone consultation. So if you click that button, you can book a call with me. Please only do so if you're serious about working together and you're committed to showing up for the call. So when you sign up for the Mind Body Gut Method, it will take you to a page that looks like this. And if you select pay in full, £720, and then it says, did you receive a coupon or a promo code? There you enter MBG45, apply code, and you'll see it says £45 off. So then you end up paying just £225 a month. So $675 total for 3 months of ongoing support with me. Before I close, I want to share 2 quick client testimonials with you, just so that you know that this is possible for you too. The first one says, Ellie went above and beyond. She changed my life. When I first came to Ellie, I was suffering from a long list of gut symptoms. I felt fed up with my health, and it was preventing me from living life to its full potential. So I was keen to explore how Ellie could help me. One of the reasons I chose to work with Ellie is because I know that she's battled with Crohn's, so I knew she'd be able to truly understand the physical and emotional toll of my gut health struggles. Ellie went above and beyond. She changed my life. Ellie took the time to get to know me really, and then use her expertise to create highly bespoke plans that were both easy to understand and achievable to follow. Get in touch with Ellie, you won't regret it. I love reading these. The next one says, working with Ellie has been the best investment I've made. I came to Ellie struggling with a long list of IBS symptoms, and she was massively helpful with dietary and lifestyle advice. What I love most about Ellie is she understands that to transform your health, it goes beyond what you eat. She takes a 360-degree approach, focusing not only on nutrition tips, but also stress, sleep, exercise, and overall well-being. Ellie was so supportive and checked in on me regularly. Working with Ellie has been the best investment I've made. She is a real gem. I would 100% recommend her to anyone struggling with gut health issues. So heartwarming for me to read. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions, you can drop me a DM on Instagram at Eli Brecher Nutrition. You can find more information on my website, ellibrecher.co.uk, or you can send me an email to ellie@ellibrechernutrition.com. And I hope to speak to you soon.